G'day, folks. G'day, folks. Geoff Hetherington. The usual thing. If you can see the title slide, give me a thumbs up. Fantastic. Okay. Today I'm going to be talking about two things which are intimately related. One is a thing that the Americans would call ZMOT, and the other one is 7 sales tips you can use which come from ZMOT. So ordinarily, if we had more time, I'd try and break the ice a bit. We've done that beautifully, but lots of people always start off these things by saying, where do you come from? And all that sort of stuff. I prefer to ask people what's on their feet because that is a bit different and gets people to think a bit more about who they're doing things with. As usual, no rainbows, no unicorns, and also as usual, a heap of information to get through very quickly. For the couple of you who do not know me, this is who I am. I've been around the blocks for a while. I've run my own coaching business for a bit over 12 years. I've helped over 160 business owners in that time make life better for themselves. Prior to that, 30 plus years as a C-suite executive here and in Southeast Asia, and a whole heap of other stuff, none of which is put up there to tell you how wonderful I am, but just to let you know I've been around the block a couple of times. Here's the truth. Despite what people say on all these courses you see out there, selling isn't easy, at least for most people. Some people are naturals at it, some people are good at it. And what most of us don't understand is we all sell a large proportion of our lives anyway. The cliched and classic example is, have you recommended a restaurant or a meal or a movie or something to someone else? You're often selling. But selling as a skill and as an art form is not necessarily easy. What you need to understand is that people rarely buy their way into something. They're trying to buy their way out of something. Those of you who know me have heard me talk before about, we are literally driven by two things: the desire to seek pleasure or the desire to avoid pain. The desire to avoid pain is by far the strongest motivator. So people will buy their way out of something, and that's usually something that's painful. When you talk to a lot of salespeople, this is what they generally put up, and they show you as the map for people. People start off being aware of the problem and your solution to it. They consider it, they purchase it. Hopefully you retain them as a customer and they turn into a raving fan, and you can see all the different steps and things there, and all that's very, very confusing. Google is behind ZMOT, which stands for Zero Moment of Truth. And I'll explain on the next slide exactly where it fits into a simplified sales process. The zero moment of truth literally is about this. Once upon a time, salespeople, marketers used to think there are only 3 stages leading up to a customer's purchase. One is the stimulus. They see an advert that talks about a problem they want solved. Their first moment of truth is they see some point of sale materials. Oh, that brochure looks good. Wow, I'd better do it. And the second and final moment of truth is when they actually experience and buy the product or service. Google's added a pre-step in that comes in before the first moment of truth. ZMOT is basically where the customer educates themselves about your product and service through research, reading reviews, downloading your ebooks, talking to people and looking for deals. We carry one of these little things in front of us all the time. This means ZMOT is available all the time. If you're connected, ZMOT's sitting there. Google suggests, though, that a buyer needs to have 7 hours of interaction with you or your product or your brand across 11 different touch points in 4 separate locations before they make a purchase. That's a hell of a lot, isn't it? This is where ZMOT sets in. Before I said it used to be stimulus, this was an ad, they see some of your stuff on the shelf and then they buy it and experience it. Well, now ZMOT fits in between the two of those. But 7 hours, man, that's an awful lot of stuff. But you know what? These days, 7 hours of material is really quite easy to put up. It can be face-to-face contact. Now, we're not a networking group, we're a business growth platform, but networking is one of the things we offer. So face-to-face networking groups, attending workshops or courses, being interviewed, going to meetings, social occasions, all those things count as face-to-face contact and go towards your 7 hours. Then there's your written contact, whether it's blogs or case studies, white papers, testimonials, how-to guides, top 10 lists, emails, newsletters, downloadable software, or the dreaded ebook. All those things that people take and consume from you add to the 7 hours. And then, of course, that leaves videos and audio content. So whether it's a social media post, a webinar, a podcast, demonstrations, or even appearing on TV or radio or advertising. And here's a plug. If you haven't yet, make sure you get your 60 seconds on Be Connected Radio. Mark can tell you how to do that. Mark Grant can how to do that. But 7 hours is really quite easy to put together when you consider all the different things you can do to get people to spend 7 hours with you and your thought. Ooh, what's a touch point? There's 11 of them that Google says you need. A touch point is basically the resources that tell your potential customers about your products, your services, and more importantly, about you. Mobile phone, as I said before, is the biggest conveyor of touch points at all because we're connected all the time. We carry our mobile phones with us just about all the time. And when I look something up, what do? We Google it or DuckDuckGo it, whichever search engine you use. But we are literally we carry hundreds of touch points, thousands, millions of them in our pocket. Google searches give your business a great opportunity to reach consumers when they're most engaged. Why? People do a Google search when they're looking to buy something. If your business is top of mind, they've consumed 7 hours of your stuff, they do a Google search, that's one of the 11 touch points, the chances are you may turn up. Simply put, it's about a touch point is where you are in front of someone when they're thinking about you or your product, or more importantly, the pain you can maybe resolve from them. A website is a touch point, but it's not the only one. Brochures, newsletters, social media feeds, podcast descriptions, events, and you get the idea. Almost everything you do where people go somewhere to consume your content is a touch point. Locations, locations, locations. You need four minimum. Now, under the Google thing, this is how they literally define it. You know, your locations should be spread across online and offline. So offline is things like good old-fashioned snail mail. Send someone a postcard. Send them a bit of lumpy mail. You know, the old things have got a Panadol sticky tape to the top right-hand corner. It says, you know, give me 60 seconds and I'll take away your business headache. All that odd sort of stuff. But website, every social media post is a location. Every email you send out is a location. So for example, one Instagram post equals one location. One email letter equals one location created, etc. The idea is a location is where someone sees something from you. So getting 4 isn't that hard. But how do you make sense of all this? Well, you've got to get your ducks in a row. And that means you've got to have materials and content that people can consume, hopefully 11 hours worth. But if you've got a YouTube channel and you put up some YouTube things on there, if you've got a blog post that you're doing things with, if you appear on things like this where you talk about your business, if you go to network, all those things help you get the 11 hours, all right? The touch point, the 7 hours, sorry, the 11 touch points, we've seen how easy they are to get together in the 4 locations. But you should consciously think about it. Where can I get people to consume 7 hours of content about me, my business, and the problem I solve? What 11 touch points can I provide to them, and what 4 locations can they find me in easily? So when you've got that lined up, that means hopefully someone's gone from awareness to, I think I should have a sales conversation with you. Well, here's the 7 tips. Talk less, listen more, acknowledge any elephants in the room, tell more client success stories, warm up your prospect before the call. That's particularly where the ZMOT comes in. That's where your 7-11-4 comes in. Pitch the result, not the process. In other words, what do they get for it, and not how you're going to give it to them. Use the power of silence and continually study and improve. This is really simple. You need to talk less and listen more. People say it all the time. You've got 1 mouth and 2 ears, and they should be used in that particular ratio, but it's true. Too many people, when they're trying to sell something or gain a new customer, they talk them to death. In fact, they talk themselves out of a sale. You need to listen to someone and understand them. You need to be genuinely curious about them. And more importantly, you need to find out what is the pain that they're trying to avoid. It may not be the surface one. So you need to talk less and listen more. If you've got a meeting coming up with someone, here's one way you can help yourself talk less, or at least ask more informed questions, is research them. Everyone here should, if you have a meeting coming up with someone, do what I do, which is I go into LinkedIn and I go into Facebook and I go into Instagram. I don't really do TikTok, but I have a look around and see if I can find out something about the person I'm having a meeting with. There's quite a few times where people have become clients because I was able to show them that I'd actually cared enough to prepare for the meeting and ask them a couple of questions about something that's not necessarily right in their face. So if you're going to speak less, listen more, research first. You need to acknowledge any elephants in the room. You know, most people have a sales script, and scripts are fine and they're helpful to learn things, but you need to move past scripts. You need to understand to talk about. The thing is, a script can lock you into something that's overly rigid and you won't know what's going on. The elephant in the room could be like picking up on the fact that they're incredibly quiet, or they seem seething with anger, or you've just realized they don't have any money. I've just had a potential client of mine not go forward with me. Why? Because his house burnt down on the weekend and he wasn't insured. So, yay, lucky me, but unlucky him. You know, but these things happen. But that's, you know, an elephant in the room. I could tell in my conversation when he wasn't happy and he was trying to figure out how he was going to say he wasn't going to work with me. And I dug in and asked him what was going on. The other thing is, people in general don't like surprises. If they've done their 7 hours of content and 11 locations and 4 touch points, they should have a pretty good idea about you and what you're offering. What they don't want is all these hidden extras or surprises. Positive surprises where they get something extra is a nice thing, but too often in the sales process, there are hidden things. There's a big thing about service fees appearing in hospitality now. You know, I just read a thing the other day where there is a bar in Sydney where they have a service fee for mojitos. Yes, they charge you $6 per mojito to actually shake the goddamn cocktail shaker. That's a nasty surprise. So have no mystery boxes unless they're positive things out there. Tell more client success stories. Now, it wasn't that far ago where we had a meeting. I think it might have been down Woy Woy, where people were talking about stuff. And there's 2 ways that you can actually bypass the logical part of a person's brain. The first one is start off a conversation with saying, imagine this. And immediately people are starting to think, imagine this. You're driving down a freeway in a red convertible with AC/DC blaring on the things, and you can see seagulls. Everyone's there already. I bet everyone in this room's got a picture of that in their head. So imagine this helps you. The other thing is, let me tell you a story. That makes us all 6 years old again, waiting for mum and dad to read us a Dr. Seuss book or Harry McClary from Donaldson's Dairy, or whichever your particular childhood books used to be. People love stories. We are designed for stories. For thousands of years, we've passed on tribal knowledge through stories, even before the written word. So one of the things you can do is, hopefully you've got clients where you can draw who's had the same problem as the person you're talking to. And you can say, well, I had a client who had the same problem as you, and this is what happened. Tell them a story. Let them know what's going on. Stories create evidence and proof that you can actually deliver what you say you're going to deliver to them as a product and service. Warm up your prospect before a call. That is literally the 7-11-4. That's the ZMOT stuff. You should do that. But you should hopefully have them ready to have a chat with you. This is really key. I see too many salespeople go into all the nuts and bolts. And first we're going to meet here, and then we're going to do that, and then it's 16 hours spent. No one cares about the process. They want the result. I'm in pain. How do I get to be pain-free? Or I want pleasure. How do I get to a happy place more quickly? People want the result. And if you're selling, you've got to talk the result, not the process. The process is incidental to someone. And as I said before, lots of people talk too often. So do this. Shut up. Say your piece, answer their questions, and shut up. There was an old saying that I was taught many years ago, he who speaks first loses. I'm not sure that's necessarily true all the time. However, if you are in a sales conversation with someone, you've answered their questions and you've said your final, shut up. They'll either ask more questions, which means they're not sure, or they're going to say, where do I sign? But the power of silence is incredibly important. The old French composer Claude Debussy once said, music is the space between the notes. In a sales conversation, what happens is the space between speaking is usually where deals are made or lost. You need to stay balanced. So you've got to try strike a balance between helping, explaining, and selling. Don't be a douchebag. Don't oversell. You should be there to try and help people. And lastly, you should continually study and improve. Find someone who sells really well and study what they do. Jay's one of the best natural salespeople I've ever met. He doesn't even think about what he does, but he's someone you should probably think about studying and having a look at. Buy books on it, read it, go on YouTube. YouTube's the world's greatest university if you want to learn stuff, but it's important. Once you do these things, you need to be consistent. So your 7-11-4, be consistent with getting your content out and doing all that. Make sure you have a sales process that you understand, that you might have to script and block out first. Till you do it often enough, it becomes natural for you. But don't be inconsistent in what you're doing. Try and do that. So look, that was ZMOT and 7 steps. But if you follow them, you'll be able to help more people. You'll close more deals. Hopefully you'll make some more money, and you'll probably create a bigger impact in the lives of other people. So thanks for coming along. That's it.
Excellent. Thanks very much, Geoff.